This is just like a series of videos that I want to do, which is introducing certain branches of philosophy. I just want to do it really kind of briefly and kind of show what are a couple of good books I think are good for that, or some good anthologies and such. This is a small intro to ethical theory. Now, I'm not trying to say this is like a class or anything. This is just like a bit of like a little bit of an intro to kind of get you a little bit familiar, with what's going on in the branch of philosophy called ethics. You can call it ethics or ethical theory. There's three basic parts to this. It's ethics and aesthetics are two parts of philosophy, which one might call which one might call axiology, because it has to do with it has to do with normativity and values and such. There's three basic parts to ethics. There's three main parts to ethical theory, and they all three do different things. First, we have normative ethics, or practical ethics, and this is the main thing when you talk about ethics. This is the main thing that you will discuss. This is the kind of ethics which deals with the kind of ethical theory that we're going to try to formulate as to try to figure out what's good and what's right. For instance, we have consequentialist ethics, which says that right actions are those that maximize a certain consequence. For instance, J.S. Mill and Jeremy Bentham have this theory of utilitarianism, which has that the good is that of maximizing utility, which is basically desire or happiness, whatever way you want to phrase it. So it's that, and then we have deontology or moral absolutism, which has that there are certain universalizable duties or obligations that we all must follow, and that is what the right or the good is. And then we have virtue ethics, which says that it isn't about how we should act, but it's about who we should be and what virtues we should live by, and to develop who we are. And that's what the good or the right is. It's just the part of normative ethics is that of figuring out how we should act, the way we should act, or who we should be, that is the most good or the most right. Second, we have metaethics, which is questions that has to do with language, epistemology, and metaphysics or ontology, which is we're talking about what is morality, what is the good, what is the right. We're defining the reality of what morality actually is. We have moral realists or moral objectivists, which says that morality is a real thing which affects all of us, and there's varying theories of that. There's moral relativism or anti-realism, which says that there's no real morality except for what is relative to cultures and societies or certain other things, or that morality isn't really real, or it's some kind of function of language or our minds, etc. It's theories about what morality is. We have also the field of the theory of naturalism, which is normally it's like a kind of realism, which says that moral facts are typically natural facts. And we have theories like cognitivism, non-cognitivism, prescriptivism, emotivism, in these various other fields, which is various theses which are trying to argue that morality is a certain way, or is this or that. And then we have issues about metaphysics, or ontology, which deals with what exactly or with what kind of metaphysical structure of reality is morality, really. Then we have issues of moral epistemology and such, and also questions about language and I could get into that for a while, but this is just a brief thing. Next, we have something which is not as much talked about, I don't think, as the other two. We have applied ethics, and we have within that I would call environmental ethics. Applied ethics is questions about whether certain things that we do in this world are right or not, if they're ethical or they're unethical. Now, people have jobs like a medical ethicist or some kind of ethicist in the non-philosophical field. That those are people that are evaluating the ethical action of what we do. We have I have a book somewhere that's full of articles on that. Now we have issues of abortion, euthanasia, all these things, all these different topics, like various different topics that we all know about and think about, and there's just people writing about them and thinking about whether they are right or ethical or good or what. Now we have environmental ethics, which is a subsection of this, which is basically about what we do in the world and with animals and such, whether that's right or not, or good or not. That's as to is eating meat right? Is cutting down forests right? We have this thing called the Dominant Worldview in that, which is basically the view that us people, we use the world as a means to our own ends and not as a thing to respect and to preserve. If you could read Peter Singer's Animal Liberation, that's a big thing. It's a really good book in the environmental ethics field. So this whole thing about applied ethics, it's just figuring out whether all the things that we do in our lives and who we are, is that good, and should we change those things? And that's that kind of gets into like politics and stuff, as to how should we change those things. Lastly, I have a couple books which I think are good for you to read if you want good anthologies on this. Blackwell, Companions of Philosophy, Companion of Ethics. They have a ton of books on like basically every kind of philosophical subject. They have one on this, and they have a separate one on applied ethics, which has really good stuff in it. This is another one, the Oxford Handbook of Ethical Theory, which has like a basic articles talking about various things in meta ethics and normative ethics. And then this is my favorite, Ethical Theory by Louis Pyman. Has a plethora of different articles in here, and even towards Kant, and even towards Hobbes, and even towards today. I have various videos on ethics, and if you have any question about anything, you can comment on the side here, or there's various other resources on YouTube or on the internet. Go to Steve Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy, or the Internet Encyclopedia of Philosophy. Those are both good resources. Thank you.